So before the holiday, I put out a poll asking you guys how you felt about the future of the Fallout franchise. And after 14 of you guys responded with this, with a good number of you feeling that it needs a few fixes to get back on track. So in this video, I want to put my 2 cents in proposing some changes that need to happen in order for the Fallout franchise to get back on the place it deserves to be. A caveat first though, I'm not going to suggest that Obsidian take it back or have it change into a Baldur's Gate-esque RPG with dice rolls and such. I'm going to keep it simple, without changing the fundamental parts that make Fallout Fallout. So still a first and third person shooter with RPG elements. So let's start off with choices for who your character is. With the first being something they included in Starfield. Backgrounds. With narrative consequences. In the future Fallout game, I want there to be options that relate to the factions in the world. Let's put it like this. When you start the game, you can choose to be an NCR citizen, or with an alternate being a disgruntled NCR citizen. If you want your character to be for or against a faction, you have options for both. The key, however, is this choice needs to come up more than just one time throughout the game, meaning it should have a dialogue tree in most major interactions you have with the big players in the game, especially if they are of the faction or of the opposing faction. It shouldn't just be a, I am NCR, and then you get the same response from the character that you were going to get if you just chose, okay, fine. It gets kind of bad when your dialogue choices all have the exact same response from the character no matter what you picked. So having dialogue that branches, and can sometimes meet back up with the original tree, makes it feel more like an RPG. And having those dialogue choices match with the character that you're trying to play through the game makes it even better. Moving on. Consequences, both narrative and in-game, which should coincide with the return of a reputation system, the violent deletion of essential status for NPC characters, and the ability to fail or get locked out of quests and factions. For instance, if I do a quest for a band of raiders to attack and pillage a town, afterwards I shouldn't be on good terms with the people of the town. They should refuse to serve me or give me quests, especially if the factions they align with are opposed to each other. Another thing is if you do a quest of significance, you should see the results of the actions that you took. If the quest was to clear a route for caravans to take, you should see caravans running along that route. The towns the route connects should have new stock in their stores. Maybe opportunistic raiders will set up ambushes along said route. It just helps in the believability and will aid in world building. Next up, I don't want to be able to join up in every faction, especially if they're at war with each other. I should not be able to join up with the Crimson Fleet, destroying SysDef in the process, and then be able to join the UC Vanguard with them not questioning me or having any suspicion at all. If you want to be a Bad Bean, you should have to create a new character to join the anti-Bad Bean faction. You shouldn't also be able to become the leader of a faction simply after doing 3 quests. Hey. I'm looking at you, Minuteman and Institute. Now, there needs to be skill or perk checks. Now, whether or not Bethesda re-adds skills or makes perks more than just increases in damage and armor numbers is not relevant. What I want is either the useless perks or skill checks to matter more than just stats in an RPG. Having perks that change the interactions you could have in dialogue were some of the best perks from previous games. Intimidating presence, allowing you to scare the shit out of enemies. Lady Killer and Black Widow, before they just became reduced to a stat boost to damage against male or female. Confirmed Bachelor, Cherchez la Femme, because gay people exist weirdly enough. Cannibal or Pack Rat coming up during quests. It makes having an actual build, or, here's a rare thought, role-playing as a character, a lot more fun. One other thing relating to perks is bring back the power armor training perk. The new power armor makes you feel like an actual tank on legs. It's great, I love it. However, you don't earn that feeling. Even if the Brotherhood aren't in the next game, which, let's face it, they will be. They're in the TV show, they'll be written into the game somehow. Being tired of the Brotherhood seal aside, you should be taught how to properly operate the armor by somebody who actually knows how to use it. Whether that be the Brotherhood, or you finding an old army training manual, or a new militaristic faction's own power armor mechanic teaching you. It should feel like you've actually earned the power behind Power Armor. Lastly, Bethesda really needs to start using design documents to prevent the story and game from being a jumbled mess and thoughts and ideas that don't connect to any previous stories or lore. It's just bad game design. Just go over to Kretosis, because he's got way more time on his hands than I do, evidently, and you can listen to exactly what his thoughts were on why they need to have design documents. Finally, Emil Pagliarillo really needs to be taken off his position as design director, because the last few examples of his games being mid to garbage at best are showing that he's not fit to even direct Traffic, let alone one of the most recognizable franchises in gaming history. That said, those are my thoughts on some of the things that need to be fixed in Fallout. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'll see you guys the next time that I decide to make a fucking video.